Okay, here we are again with another video, but this time not a reaction, but just a video where I talk about all the anime I watched this week. I don't know if I want to do this like weekly, where I just talk about like all the animes that I watched in that week, or if I want to do this maybe on the days where the anime come out. For example, today is Tuesday for me, early in the morning, so Chainsaw Man and Shinobi no Ittoki will come out later today in like 10ish hours, so that I maybe later today I make a video where I talk about my thoughts or like my review or thoughts about like those two episodes, and I do that for basically each day. Or if I want to do this like weekly, like I said, everything together like in this video, I just do it this way now because I watched all that stuff already, and I thought to not make like multiple videos for each day or something, or each anime. I just do it all in one video right now, and I mean, you can let me know, right, what you would prefer. I think doing it for like each anime separately would be a bit too much, especially because some animes I don't necessarily have to say much about, like for example Chainsaw Man or Immoral Guild or some other anime. I just don't have much to say. I mean, there are not always animes that I watch and have much to say about, like for example Summertime Rendering, where I have a lot to talk about, or like Mushoku Tensei, where I have a lot to say about, right? It's not always like that. So in this season there are quite a few animes where I would say that I don't have much to say about. So I think doing it like daily for all animes that I watched, or doing everything weekly, would be the best choice, I would say. But yeah, like I said, let me know, and I would say let's get started right now with Chainsaw Man, which is already here at the picture. Yeah, like I said, in my trailer reaction, I did read Chainsaw Man every chapter of part 1, which I think was 93, and now part 2 started, and now it's like over 100 chapters. And I loved the manga, and shortly after I was done with the manga, the anime got announced. If I had known before that the anime would come for reading, I wouldn't have read the manga. So I finished it, then shortly after the anime got announced, and obviously I was hyped for it because I love the manga. And yeah, so this is like another example where I don't have much to say about, because there is no mystery for me, right? I know everything that is to know about it, and so there is no theorizing going on for me or anything, because like I said, I just know everything about it. But what I can say is I loved it. The voice acting is amazing. The OST is amazing. The animation is amazing. There's nothing that is not amazing in that first episode, I would say. Everything, I would say, is perfect. The only thing that is interesting for me is, and that's not really a spoiler, the beginning of the anime is different than the beginning of the manga. The first scene with the alleyway going to the door and waking up afterwards is in the anime, but not in the manga. Where the manga starts is when Danchi lists all of the money he got from like chopping wood, selling his eye, his nut, or one of his nut, his kidney and all that stuff. That's where it starts, when he lists all that stuff. And so interesting that there's a door scene at the beginning, and I guess I just leave it at that and don't say anything more. And yeah, otherwise, like I said, I think everything is top notch. Like hearing the chainsaw and the revving going on, it's just so good. And voice acting, top notch job. Like when he was on the ground and got stabbed and was screaming in agony, man, that was crazy. Such a good job. And yeah, like I said, otherwise OST amazing. Like when you had the scene where he was basically dead and we saw Pochita's mindset, about him telling Pochita to take his body, right? The OST in the background was so awesome. It was so good. And the action later, I have to say, I don't know how I feel about the CGI that was used. It's not bad, it's very good, I would say. But at times it looked a bit weird. But I mean, it's still very good. I wouldn't complain about it. I just don't know how I feel about it right now. But like I said, I wouldn't say it's bad or that I dislike it. I think it's very good because it's good CGI. If this would be worse CGI, like Berserk CGI, holy shit, that would be bad. But yeah, I'm definitely hyped to see more of it, right? I mean, like I said, I know everything, but I love to see how it continues, how it is quality-wise and everything, and hearing the other characters interact with each other. And because there's a scene at the beginning that is different from the manga, I'm interested to see if there's more like that. That is like different from the manga. That will be interesting to see, I would say. So yeah, I would say that's basically Chainsaw Man, I would say. I loved it, top notch, can't wait for more. Next is Shinobi no Ittoki, and I think, I don't want to say cringe, I don't like the word, but something like that, right? Every time they say ninja, it feels so edgy. Because when you think about ninjas, you think about like, maybe not necessarily Naruto, right? But something along those lines, right? Using shurikens, kunais, more like fantasy based. There isn't much ninja, shinobi stuff going on in modern times, right? And then you have these ninjas right here in that show, which I would say have nothing much to do with ninjas. So far, from what we can tell, it's more like stealth assassins, I would say. I mean, which is kind of like a ninja, right? But I mean, it's not the way they look with their outfits and everything. It's not really what you would imagine a ninja to be, right? So it just feels weird to me when they say ninja all the time. And the whole thing with fire release and water release, I don't know if I'm missing something, but I feel like it's completely pointless and useless and dumb. Because the fire release is basically, he just prepared a fire at a fire alarm so that the fire alarm goes off, and then he says water release and the sprinkler goes on, and it's like, it would work the same way if you don't say it. It just feels weird and dumb. And yeah. I'm interested to see if we get more like that, where they use those terminologies for stupid shit, where they don't really have to use it or to have to say it because it would work without it anyways, based on what they do, right? Yeah. Like, if they do a shuriken kagebushi no jutsu, like a duplication jutsu, and just throw more kunais or some shit, or more shurikens, that would work the same way without saying kagebushi no jutsu or some shit, right? So I'm looking forward to see if that's something that will go on. Yeah. It's basically like when anime characters say the attack they want to use, they could use it without saying it, but they still do it. And it's the same like that, right? Just it feels more stupid in this scenario. And yeah, otherwise, I don't like the main character because he's so whiny. I mean, I get it, right? I mean, he just lived a normal life, got thrown into this whole shinobi ninja stuff, got almost killed, and yeah. it's kind of weird. And now he goes to a school where he is supposedly safe and no one can harm him inside. What is this if someone infiltrates it and just kills him anyway and then just leaves quickly without anyone noticing? I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know how they want to make sure that really no one is in danger in that school. Because I don't think that every student or many students that go there are in life-threatening danger. I guess our main character here is a special case that goes to the school to be safe and not to get killed, so yeah. Especially because we have now... Oh my god, that was another cringy thing that I felt like was a bit too edgy. When the dad sat down in the car and is like, keep your killing instinct down or whatever, or killing intent. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying my best. I was just like, calm down, buddy. That felt a bit edgy too. I'm trying my best. And I mean, we know from the intro, I guess, that he will be a student in that school, so he will be in contact with our main character, so that will be funny. And then yeah, they had the whole like test going on, right, to get into the school, and obviously the Shinobi family that wants to kill him kind of like infiltrated that whole thing and wanted to kill him because it's on their basically in their building, right, in their store, whatever. And so yeah, they have people there that try to kill him. It's like cool. It's like, because the people that did this test are basically the people that also like running the school basically and want to make sure that no one gets killed in the school, right? And they couldn't even make sure that in this test no harm happens to him. So far so good, I would say. So yeah, to get to the point basically, so far I'm not enjoying it that much, the show. Watching the trailer and everything, I thought, oh yeah, boy finds out he is an heir to a ninja family, whatever, and then goes to a ninja school or whatever and lives a ninja life and all that stuff is going on. Cool. And then we get the anime, the first 2 episodes, and it's like, yeah, not so cool. So yeah, I mean, maybe it will just turn around, right? I mean, it's not over yet, right? We are not even like halfway through or anything. So I will keep watching and we'll see if I maybe get to a point where I just don't enjoy it anymore, which I think my breaking point might be like episode 5. If at episode 5 there's nothing good going on, then I think I just drop it. Or maybe if like episode 3 or 4 are like really bad, then maybe I drop it already. So I guess we will see. And so yeah, so next anime I would say, Love Flops. I started this anime because I completely forgot about it. I had it on my radar before the season started. I wanted to watch this because I love myself romance anime that are also harem, and I also like it when they have fan service. I guess we know that by now with the animes I watched so far. Yeah, I watched this, and this is basically about our main character who wakes up, sees the fortune telling in TV for him, which basically says that he will have encounters, 5, and then it says like, basically gives him like hints. I mean, he didn't really knew that those are like hints, but like she said some stuff like corner, staircase, and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, okay, blah blah blah, let's go. And on his way to school, that stuff happened. Like, one happened at a corner, one happened at the staircase, and all that stuff. And every single one of these encounters was something lewd, basically. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's not for everyone, because not everyone likes a lot of fan service. I like it. I had my good time. And I think it had some funny moments. Like, our main character really likes his bananas, right? So much that he even toasts the banana. He sits there at the morning watching TV and toasts a fucking banana. I've never... Are there people that actually do that? Toasting bananas? I've never seen anyone toasting a fucking banana. I mean, I guess some do like this thing with the fire and like caramelize or whatever a banana maybe, right? Or like Candace apple, like the apples in like this red sugar. Maybe some people do something like that with bananas, but like toasting a banana as like breakfast, that's something new. And yeah, then he put a banana in like a banana case and took it with him to school, which he had in his pocket in his pants, right? And when the one girl crashed into him on the stairs and he fell down, she landed with her butt on his face, and then she looked at his crotch, which was right in front of her, and the banana case just stood up that it looked like as if he had a boner. That was like one of those funny moments in that anime, I would say, because it's just so dumb. I mean, if you would think about it, it is something that could happen, but not really, right? Because your pockets are not that big that if you had a banana case in your pocket, that it would slip in so far that it would be like in the middle of your pants where normally your dick would be, right? So it's not something that could happen like that. You would need huge pockets in your pants that would add up. And yeah, so basically we get like 5 girls that will be in love with the main character, and I can't wait to see all these encounters. I mean, not 5 girls. I mean, if you watch the first episode, then you know why, right? So yeah, that will be interesting. I mean, yeah. The only thing that I didn't like about the first episode was basically the one with the dog. The 2 scenes with the dog. Yeah, that I think was meh. I hope we don't get more like that, right? Everything else I think was very good. I enjoyed it, just dumb fun. Not for everyone, obviously. If you don't like fan service, if you don't like dumb, fun, stupid humor, whatever, then it's probably not for you. I'm liking it. And yeah, the character I'm the most interested in of the girls is basically the teacher. I dig her style with the green hair, the purple shoes, the thigh-high socks, and I guess you could say it's a Chinese dress, right? Digging that, and also I love the art direction in this anime. It's basically like lovers but not a married couple, where it's like very vibrant colors, like it's extremely colorful. And I also like the colored outlines of the characters, that is not just black outlines, right? Where it's sometimes like purple outlines or whatever. I'm digging that. I really like that style. And yeah, so will be interesting to see what happens next, because so far we only got like 1 love confession, right? But will be eventually 5. I would prefer only 4. But yeah, first episode so far so good. The only thing is, I've read some comments and some people complained about it, that the anime is somewhat censored, which I think is weird, because when I checked my anime list, it said that the anime is anime original, which normally means that it's only anime, no manga, no light novel, no nothing, just anime, right? But there is a manga, and I checked the manga to see what is censored in the first episode, and it is quite a bit. Sadly. Because the guys that made this anime are the same guys that made Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World, which we had last season, and we know how that anime was, right? And they also made High School DxDD Season 4, which we also know how that anime goes, right? And they also made Interspecies Reviewer, and we also know how that anime goes. So, and they made some other stuff, but I mean, based on those 3 animes alone, we know they do loot shit. And so it's very surprising that they somewhat censored or changed the anime to make it like more safe for work. One of those changes is, for example, the banana scene with the pants, right? In the anime, in the manga, it's way bigger. It really like stands up. And the reaction of the girl is way more crazy. Here she's just like, oh! But in the anime, she's like really in shock. Her whole face changes basically. I expected an expression like the one in the manga when I saw that happening, and before she had her reaction, I thought like, oh my god, she will have a crazy face, and then it was barely anything. So I'm surprised that her reaction was rather calm, I would say. And another thing that got changed is when they were talking about the girls and teacher in the gym for PE, and they talked about the teacher and she dropped her papers. In the manga, there is a shot when she like goes down, right, and is like crouching or whatever you want to call it, or kneeling or whatever. There is a shot in the manga, panty shot, very close up. And here in the anime, you just get like a side view where you see that she's like kneeling or crouching, whatever you want to say, and you don't see any panties at all. And then later, when the teacher treats his like not wound really, his what's the word? Oh my god, why am I blanking out right now? Let's say his wound, whatever, right? When she's treating him, here you only see like her lips. She blows it a bit, right? And then she puts on the spray and band-aid, I think, and then you just see her face, right? In the manga, you see a shot basically from her whole torso with like her boobs right in front, right? Full frontal and all that stuff. And here you don't really get that. And then what also got changed basically, and I think that's the last thing if I don't miss anything right now, is basically the end. And everyone that knows what I'm talking about knows what is going on. And I mean, it's not really... That's the scene where I can say, okay, I understand that they censored that the way it is right now, because the way it is in the manga is crazy. So, you see the upskirt shot where the wind blows up the skirt and you can basically see her parts, right? But there's this shine going on, this light ray, whatever, that completely blocks the view, obviously, right? In the manga, you see... I mean, in the anime, it does a shot that moves between her legs to the main character's face, right? But in the manga, you see a shot of her whole ass. And only a small cherry blossom leaf is covering her ass. And it's a very close-up shot. And then you also get a frontal shot that is very close up, and again only a cherry blossom leaf is covering the front. Like I said, I can't understand why they censored that. because it's very revealing, I would say, right? So that makes sense. But the other parts, with the banana, with the expression, with the panty shot, with the full frontal shot, I'm surprised that they did those changes and made it a bit more safe for work, a bit more calmer, right? Didn't went that far, because, like I said, they made Interspecies Reviewer, they made Harem in the Labyrinth, they made High School DD Season 4, which are all showing way more. Where they basically show naked girls, right? So I'm surprised that they did that. So will be interesting to see how that continues, and I guess I might check the manga chapters that come afterwards to see what the changes are for the next episodes. Maybe I guess maybe I will do that, and then I can talk about it here, right? But I guess that's basically the episode. Basically, it's not for everyone, right? But I really enjoyed it. I had my fun with it. I can't wait to see what happens next, how everything will turn out, who will be the next love confession, right? So I'm hyped. But yeah, next anime, Eminence in Shadow. I have to collect my thoughts because it's been a few days. But yeah, I mean, oh yeah, now I get it. I'm remembering. Yeah, basically this anime is all about fake it until you make it, right? I love it. It's like he makes everything up, and by coincidence, he's right. I love it. I can see how some people don't or won't like it, right? I mean, I know that some people don't like it because basically our main character has all these girls around him, right? And it's only girls and no dudes in his group, basically. And people are like, ugh. Yeah, of course he has only girls. Ugh. I love it. Like I said, I love harem animes, so that's awesome. And I mean, while he has all these girls around him, it's not really, I guess it's not really a harem, I think, right? Because he's not doing anything with them, right? It's not that he goes into like relationships with him, right? I think nothing like this will happen. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it happens, but I think it won't. I think at least when I checked my anime list, it never said anything about like harem or anything, because there is like not really love going on, I think, but I'm not sure. But yeah, fake it until you make it, basically. You just faked the whole thing with the cult of Diablo or whatever, and to get people into this little game, right? And it turns out it's actually true. But I think by the end of this episode, at least, he still doesn't know it, right? Because he defeats this one guy that took the demon drug or whatever, and it's like, man, for a normal bandit, he was pretty strong. So yeah, he doesn't really know anything about it, that it's actually a thing. He just does this little game and thinks that the girls go completely crazy and fight even normal bandits and think that it's like some big cult they are fighting, because that's what he basically told Alpha when he said, yeah, they might not know it, but they actually are part of the cult of Diablo. And yeah, which I think is another interesting aspect, is because if we go back to the beginning of the episode, in Mushoku Tensei, I said I can't remember a single anime where someone isekai'd and basically starts as a baby. And I thought, hey, Mushoku Tensei is like very unique when it comes to that. And then we got Eminence in Shadows, where basically that happens. But it has time skips and time moves way faster, because we start as a baby and then we are basically instantly at the age of 10, and then we skip another 3 years and are at the age of 13, And I guess by the end of this episode, last episode, we are still 13, but I guess we will skip the next 2 years and basically to the part where he goes to the city to go to the academy, right, to the school. So I guess by next episode he's already 15 years old. So yeah, it's not the same as Mushoku Tensei. And I mean, in Mushoku Tensei, our boy Rudy has to learn everything basically and is strong because he learns everything and takes time, right, to get stronger and stronger and stronger over the years. And here we have basically our boy just getting to this world basically, and he seems strong as fuck, but we don't know if he had these powers from the get-go or if he had to train, because we just see him as strong and there's nothing really showing that he had to become stronger, and he seems unnaturally strong right now. But as in real life, he tries to be the background character, obviously. He tries to be in the shadows. And yeah, I'm not sure about his powers. I don't know if the slime suit that he has I don't know if that's like magic that he used, or if that's an item, like an object, right? I had someone say that he thinks that it's probably magic because he's a Dark Knight, but they said that Dark Knights use magic to enhance the physical abilities, and having a slime suit that does the attacks, I would say is not really like increasing your physical abilities, right? So I mean, overall we don't know much about his powers, right? We just know he is strong, he has the slime stuff going on, and that's basically it. Otherwise, the only unique ability he has is fake it until you make it, and it happens. Like same when they try to find the hideout, right? And he throws his little knife, and it's like, oh shit, I missed. And then they're like, oh, but there is nothing. And then they're like, oh my god, he figured it out, and it actually is true. But yeah. Oh yeah, I want to say, this is something that people might not like, right? I wanted to say that earlier, but then I went over to all his teammates are girls, basically. But yeah, I've heard at least one person say that they don't like it because they think it's dumb. I guess because it's like everything happens by coincidence, and it's true by coincidence, right? He just pulls everything out of his ass and it's true. And I can see that people might not like this plot, right? I think some people would want something that is more solid and grounded, right? And not so, oh yeah, he just does stuff and it's completely right. Like I said, I personally don't mind it. I think it's quite funny. And so yeah. But yeah, back to his powers. Like I said, I don't know if the slime is magic or if it's like an item that he has, because it seems like all the other girls have it too, right? They can get these slime swords out of nowhere, so I guess their suits are also out of slime. Which I don't know, like I said, if it's magic or not. I mean, he could, when he got Alpha, right, when he transmutated her back, he got the cloak out of nowhere, so maybe it is magic, and with magic he created it and put it on, basically. Or maybe the slime is just an item that hides somewhere in his pockets or something, and he can just activate it and then it just cloaks him, right? But I mean, he made a cloak out of the slime, so I mean, it could still be an item. I don't know if it's an item or if it's magic. But yeah, like I wanted to say, overall we don't know much about his abilities. We just know basically the slime, and there is this stuff going on with his eyes, right? Where he gets sometimes red eyes, and then this one scene where he gets the purple glow in his right eye, right? I guess the purple glow might just be stylization, kind of like where Goblin Slayer gets his glowing red eye. And here we have it like with purple, or like when Ainz gets like his glowing eyes, right? I guess it's maybe just stylization, but what's up with the red eyes? Maybe the red eyes is when he uses magic or something? I don't think that the red eyes are just stylization. I think they have an actual use in this world, I would assume. So yeah, we don't know that. And something that I think was interesting was the scene where they trained Claire and Sid, Shadow. Because the way it seemed to me, when everything stopped and then he sliced her, right? He didn't actually slice her, but it looked like he wanted to slice her, and then he wanted to poke her neck, right? For me, it looked like as if he got super fast, because we know that he's super strong, and wanted to show off basically, and then goes back to his position and just loses, right? But what someone was saying to me, because I talked with him about it, he said that it was just like his killing intent. He didn't actually do it, because he was talking about it like he knows all the stuff from the real world, right? And if he could use the stuff from the real world, then he could use it, right? And that's what it symbolizes basically, that if he could use his knowledge from the previous world, that's what would happen, right? He could easily defeat her. And that's basically his killing intent, because later when Claire got captured and they talk about it, she says that she learns from her brother's blade, but he never learns from her. So what he was saying to me is basically that what we saw was the killing intent he has, and that's what she felt, and that's what she learns from, right? Because she feels the killing intent he has, but actually doesn't know that he is that strong. And so because he loses all the time, she thinks he is weak and loses all the time and isn't learning, right? So that, when you put it like that, I would say it would make sense that could be how it is, that it didn't actually happen, that it just is killing intent. It basically shows what he could do if he would use his knowledge, but he doesn't. But I mean, for me, it seemed that way, that he actually did it and just went super fast, super overpowered, right? Because it wouldn't be the first time that something like that happens in anime, where a super strong character shows off just to show off, and the opponent isn't even realizing it because he just can't keep up with it. So it wouldn't be the first time in anime that something like this would actually happen, so that's why I thought that way. But yeah, like I said, I guess it makes sense that it maybe was just killing intent. And then I was confused why Claire went berserk in the cell, right? When he said that he would go after the brother too, or at least look into the brother, right? And I was wondering why, because she seems to not really like Sid, right? And again, what the person I was talking with told me, or what he thought, is that basically she doesn't want anyone to get close to Sid or harm him, because Sid is basically the only one she can really learn from, right? Because of his killing intent and everything, since she said that she learns from him. And that's why she went berserk, because he's basically the only decent training partner, right? And again, I think that makes sense. That's how it is. But yeah, I mean, that was basically the episode. And I guess when they said, okay, this is goodbye, Sid, I guess it's because they're probably 15 years old too and have to leave for the academy maybe. In the next episode, I guess, we go to the academy, because 2 years time skip and then they reunite, I guess. Would be my assumption. So yeah, can't wait for next episode. And I guess that's all of Eminence and Shadow, I would say. And I need to drink a sip because my throat starts to hurt and gets dry from all the talking. Okay, next anime is Reincarnated as a Sword. Yeah. I feel like the progress in this anime is a bit fast. First, we had the first episode where we basically learned all the skills and everything in like a rapid pace, which felt kind of overwhelming. And then in the second episode, Fran already beat like the strongest guy in the guild. I think he was the strongest guy. And now in this episode, in episode 3, she just gets super dope equipment from like a top tier smith, just like that, because he sees her as worthy. So first we get an overpowered sword, now we get really good gear, and now the smith is making even better gear. I feel like this is a bit of speedrunning. But I mean, I guess that was my first thought when I saw this anime. I think it's more like on the chill side, right? It's not about to be super serious and super deep, right? I guess it's more about like having a nice journey, some fun, right? And that's why everything seems super easy and it's like on a faster pace, I would say. But I guess I hope there will be some more serious moments, like in episode 1, right? But I guess we will see. And oh yeah, the end basically, where she defeats the goblins and then wants to go and destroy the other goblins. And my first thought was, okay, here she goes. She goes in, just completely destroys all the goblins, and GG. Day is saved. So that was my original thought, and I'm happy to see that she doesn't have an easy time, right? I mean, she has this overpowered sword, she has good gear, but she is still a bit overwhelmed with the goblins because it's just too many and everything. I was hoping that she maybe would just say, okay, I'm heading back because I can't do this. But no, she is stubborn. She is like, nope, I can't go back. I have to do this now. I can't back down because she wants to get stronger. Obviously, I get it. But here come like the two options, I would say. That, I mean, you could say 3 options, but I just say 2 options. Option 1, she stays stubborn and just goes for it and wins. Yeah. Or option 2, which is kind of like two options. Either someone comes and helps her, or she retreats. I hope for the second. Someone comes and helps, or she retreats. If she does this now, if she keeps being stubborn and does this and does it on her own, again, I feel like that would be kind of rushed. Again, because it would just show how crazy strong she is. Even without experience, she can just go in there, have a hard time, but still do it. But I mean, it would aid her in her goal to become strong, to evolve, right? But I feel like it would be too quick, right? I mean, she just got the sword basically and everything, and now she wasn't even combat experienced, and now she just does it. So yeah, I hope it's the second option, that either she backs down or backs away and retreats, or that someone comes and makes her retreat or something, or helps her. But yeah, I guess we will see. And I mean, for the most part, I think that was basically the episode, right? I mean, especially, I think it would be crazy if she can do it on her own, because they said a goblin stampede is strong enough to even destroy a somewhat bigger city, right? And then she can do it by herself, alone. That would be kind of crazy if she's like a one-man army already. But yeah, like I said, that was basically the episode. Like I said, I feel like it's a bit rushed. It feels a bit fast with how everything goes. That she gets like the strong sword, obviously, and that then she is able to beat this strong guy in the guild, and then she also gets good gear and will get better gear and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess we will see how it goes next episode, if she can do it on her own or not. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say for Reincarnated as a sword. So next anime, which is Immoral Guild. Yeah, I would say this is another anime where I don't have much to say about, because it's basically more of episode 1, right? We got 2 new characters introduced, and basically what happens in the episode is character gets introduced, they go into the forest, have a fight, some loot stuff happens, retreat back to the city, report. New character gets introduced, they head into the forest, have a fight, something loot happens, they retreat, back in the city, report. End of episode. That's basically the episode. And I don't mind that. I still enjoy the anime. I like the fan service. It's just when you want to do a review about it, I feel like there's not much to say, because it's so similar to episode 1. And I mean, there's nothing really serious going on or special going on that you can really talk about it, unless you want to go into detail about how detailed the scenes are and want to go into every single detail of those scenes, right? Like how the rabbits do all their stuff, right? Which I don't really want to do here. So yeah, I guess next episode will be similar, right? Because we get one more character introduced, I think. And do we get another character introduced? I think we do. If we get another, I think there will be one more character, I think. So that means maybe that the half the episode will be character gets introduced, we go into the forest, have one fight, something loot happens, we retreat back in the city, report. And from there, it might be another, we have all the girls or something, we go into the forest, something loot happens, we retreat and report. End of episode. And here's the thing, like I said, I don't mind that really. But what I can say after 2 episodes so far is, if this is all we get, I feel like it's a bit too repetitive. If it just, we start at the guild, go into the forest, have a fight with loot stuff, go back to the guild. Because it's like basically 2 locations we have. Guild and forest, guild and forest, guild and forest, guild and forest. I need a bit more locations at least, right? Because so far in both episodes, we saw the slimes, we saw a bear in both episodes, we saw the forest in both episodes, and the guild. So I need a bit more locations, more monster variety, right? Otherwise, I feel like it could be too repetitive. But I have to say, I mean, this anime is basically Konosuba in loot. But I have to say, at least the new girl with the purple hair, not purple, with the pink hair, she wasn't useless, right? I mean, she went into her frenzy, which is not really the usual frenzy, right? But she wasn't useless. She actually did something and succeeded in fighting, right? Not like the others that lose at fighting, basically. Or become incapacitated. So at least she wasn't completely useless, just half useless. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. If we don't get a new character introduced next episode, if it's just the 4 girls, then maybe next episode already we see something different. But yeah, I would say if we get a new character introduced at least one more time, we have the same thing going on. Introduction, go into the forest, have one loot fight, go back, report. If not, then it will be interesting to see which girls we get, where we go, right? I hope that at that point, if we don't get a new character introduced, that we have something different, like different locations. But I guess we will see. And I guess, like I said, I guess there isn't much more to say about that really. Since so far it was just basically episode 1, just different girls, right? I would love to see more. And next anime, Akiba Maid Wars. Yeah. If I would be in the shoes of the main character girl, I would get the fuck out of there. Because the owner of the whole cafe is so unreliable, I wouldn't spend another day there. I would just get the hell out and be on my way. Holy shit. Because she almost died because of the owner in the first episode, and she almost died because of the owner in the second episode, and I'm pretty sure she almost dies in the third episode because of the owner, and probably in the fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh episode and whatnot. Will this be how this anime goes? Owner does some unreliable dumb shit that gets the girls into trouble and they have to deal with it and get out. God damn. And yeah, I guess if that's how it will be, then it will be Ranko all the time that saves the day, basically. Because she doesn't give a fuck. I mean, she just shot the guy like nothing. Where was she hiding the gun? Probably somewhere under the skirt, right? And no one checked for guns. Good that she had a gun. But yeah, I mean, this I feel like is another anime where I can't really say much to, I would say. Because it's just so crazy and unpredictable, right? I mean, I'm wondering if we will get something like backstories, maybe for the owner or for the other girls, right? Definitely I would like to get some backstory for Ranko. I feel like we won't get much backstory for the main character. I guess if we get backstory for her, it will just be something like, oh yeah, I come from this city, it had this kind of life, and that's it. It would just be like, oh yeah, I went to school and all this stuff, nothing special. But Ranko would be interesting because she is like in this maid business, I think, for a long time, and is a killer basically. So, and she has connections to this one guy in the ramen shop that gave her the gun, right? So her backstory could be interesting. Or the other girls, because they are also in this business for some time and probably did some killing already. Because I mean, the one girl said in the last episode, it's been some time since I had a gun or whatever. So yeah, I would be interested in seeing some backstories for the other girls, but not really the main character. I feel like the main character is the most uninteresting character in the whole show because she's just so normal when everything else is so crazy, and it's basically like a whole Yakuza world, underworld, whatever, with the maids. Yeah. But yeah, I have to say, besides Ranko, the girl, or what's her name? Let me check really quick. Um, I think it was something Pawn. Yeah. I like her. Out of all the other characters, from the main characters, she's like my favorite. For those that don't know who I mean with the name, for people that are bad with names, it's a blonde one. I just think it's so funny how when Ranko kills the guy in the casino, and she's just like, funny. Just like that. Funny. So, yeah. I think there's nothing more to say, right? I guess this will... I'm wondering if we will see more, or if this is like the pattern. Like I said, maybe the pattern is owner does some stupid shit, they get into some fights with other maid cafes or whatever, and then it ends with the other maid cafe gets completely wiped out because of Ranko. But yeah, like I said, if I would be in the shoes of the main character girl, I would get the fuck out, because the owner is just so unreliable that the chances of you dying are pretty high, even if Ranko is there. But yeah, I would say next anime. Urusei Yatsura. Yeah. I've never watched the original. I always wanted to watch the original. And 2 minutes and 45 seconds into this first episode, it was all over the place. All over the place. But I liked the episode, but I have to say, I'm a bit worried. It's crazy, it's cool, I like the art direction, the like old school art style, but like modern, right? What I think could be a bit too much, maybe, is how crazy it is. Because like I said, it's like the beginning was all over the place. Then we had the whole duel going on with like hide and seek basically, or catch order. And then the end was again completely crazy with what's his name? Ateru? Trying to call his girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend, or whatever you want to call her, and then Lum trying to interfere the whole time, and it's completely crazy with helicopters and airplanes disappearing because of the black hole shit, and everything goes to shit with thunderstorms and all that stuff, completely over the top. I felt like that was a bit too much with how crazy it was with everything, right? I feel like it was a bit too much. So I hope that the next episodes hopefully will be a bit calmer. I don't mind craziness. I don't mind if it's a bit crazy and weird and all that stuff. I just think the end of the first episode was a bit too much. But okay. What I'm surprised about is that, I mean, I get how Lum would maybe accept or like think that he wanted to marry her, because he's screaming the whole time, marriage, 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 right? And she just starts to think, is he meaning me? Does he want to marry me? And because he actually won against her, right, I could see that she maybe starts to like him because he seems worthy or something, right? But I mean, afterwards, he basically cleared it up, right? That it's just a misunderstanding and all that stuff. And I mean, he just is pretty much against Lum and wants to be with his ex, basically. So it's interesting that Lum is still basically going after him, right? And sticking around. But I mean, if she somehow fell in love with him because he maybe beat her and she liked it or something to get affected by him. Okay. What I've heard, I think that is very interesting, is that I don't know if it's true, but I've seen someone in comments say that she is the first tsundere, which, if true, is very interesting, that she's basically the first that basically started it all. But I've also heard someone say that she's one of the first and basically is the one that made tsundere popular. Either way, she is the first or one of the first and definitely made it popular from what it seems like, which I think is interesting. So I'm looking forward to see her more, to see how basically the tsundere is character-wise that made this whole thing maybe popular. But yeah, I also think it's interesting that the father is just like, oh, so you want to marry him? And she's like, yeah, I want to marry him. And he's like, okay, that's how it is. Just like that, from we invade Earth to, okay, you marry an Earthling, cool, let's go. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, I would say, that this anime is out for such a long time. I had quite a bit of interest in it, mainly because of Lum, because I like to design everything, obviously. But even though it's so old, I think it's highly regarded by many people. I still don't know anything really about it. I mean, I think I didn't even really knew or thought about that she might be an alien. I mean, I saw on some pictures the small horns, but I mean, that could be some like hairband that has some small horns, right? And I mean, she had a weird outfit on, but I mean, anime. So, and I mean, we have stuff like Ranma 1.5, right? Which is basically from the same guy, which has a guy that can transform into a girl or a guy that can transform into a panda bear. So, and it's also not aliens, so anime, right? So I never really questioned if she is a girl, like a normal human girl, or if she's like an alien or whatever. I just thought like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, will be very interesting to see how crazy it will get. I hope it gets crazy in other directions than the first episode. From what I've heard, I don't know if that's true because, like I said, I never watched the original. Apparently, the first half of the first episode is different, the second half is different than the original. Apparently, from what I've heard, the second half is basically that they stole all oil on the planet if Ateru, or whatever his name is, if he wouldn't marry Lum or something like that. By the end of the episode, they returned all the oil or some shit like that. I don't know if that's true, but if yes, I mean, that's quite the difference from this one we have right here, like completely different. I mean, yeah, I think I don't bring it up. So yeah, I think that's basically the first episode of that. I think there isn't much more to say. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess we can talk about the catch game, right? Him catching her makes absolutely no sense, right? I mean, she can just fly around, and why isn't she just flying super high up? It was basically the end of the game, and she's just flying in front of him, that he is like in somewhat of a reach, right? To grab her, instead of like flying away, flying on top of a building or some shit. That's interesting, right? Maybe she wanted to give him a chance. Maybe she didn't want to make it completely unfair. At the very end, at least, right? And I mean, it's kind of crazy that... I mean, I guess it's very human-like that he basically does this game for all of humanity, right? If he would deny, they would probably just invade and be like, okay, that's basically like giving up. So he pretty much has to do it, but all the humans are hating on him because it took him 10 days to do. And no one is like, if I would be in his situation, I maybe suck as well. But everyone's just hating, right? No one thinks, could I do a better job at this? Probably not. I mean, she can fly. But everyone is like, dude, are you even trying, bruh? And then, I mean, when he grabbed her top and pulled it off, censorship, right? I mean, how was it in the original? Because I've seen people post that picture and be like, look at the censorship. And I'm like, is this censorship? How was it in the original? Could you see more in the original? Did it even happen in the original? I think I have to check that. And in the same breath, I could check if the original first episode had the oil thing going on or not, right? But yeah, I mean, so far I like it. I hope it won't be as crazy as the end of the episode. I think that was a bit too over the top. But everything else I liked, and I want to see how it goes with the whole... Because I think the whole plot of the anime is basically that Ataru, or whatever his name is, and Lum become a couple, right? That they fall in love. Even if right now he's not really falling in love with her, right? Because he wants this other girl. But yeah, interested to see more. Definitely like the art style and everything. But yeah, I guess that's Urusei Yatsura. And I would say next anime is Tamer. Overall, I would say I liked it because we got Tanya, which is like, for me, from what I've seen so far of like trailers and whatnot and like pictures, she's my highlight. I like her design and everything, so that will be interesting to see. But again, I have to say, it's kind of like Urusei Yatsura, where here they had to duel against her, right? They had to fight her, and she can be a fucking dragon, but she fights in humanoid form. Why isn't she fighting in a dragon form to win easier? I guess because it would go against her goal, right? To become stronger. I think if she would fight as dragon, it would be too easy because she would just... her size alone plus the power she has would be too much, I guess, right? So I guess that's why she fights in human form. I don't know if she's stronger in human form or dragon form. But yeah, that was interesting that she basically just fought like that. And I mean, again, it's like, as soon as Rain came up with a plan to beat her and he called the fucking bird, I was like, dude, what will it be? Will it be poison? Will it be some paralysis again? And then it's poison that does paralysis. It's both. My first thought was, will it be poison? Because I thought, okay, it's not the bees, so it might not be paralysis. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's poison. And I thought, poison could maybe also paralyze, because I think if he would poison her, he wouldn't want to kill her, right? So it has to be something that makes her, right, incapacitated. And so I thought, maybe the poison like paralyzes her, and that's what it is. Oh boy. Which again is very interesting, that he has this stuff, right? He can call beasts that can paralyze, he can call birds that can poison to paralyze, and who knows what other animals there are that he can call that have useful abilities like that. And he never used it with the Hero Guild, and suddenly when he is alone, he's like, oh yeah, I can do this shit. Or by coincidence, those things are around so that I can use them. I mean, otherwise it's like episode 1 again, right? He just met Tanya, and she's immediately like, Tamer, I don't know you. And this is crazy, but here's my name, so pay me maybe. Which is also interesting, is because it seems like that Tanya maybe doesn't know as much about Tamer as Kanade, I think her name is Kanade, I think. But yeah, it seems like she doesn't know as much, because Kanade was like, okay, tame me. He tames her, and she's like, dude, you can do more contracts even though you tamed me. That's impossible. And here we have Tanya, who is like, oh, you tamed her, so tame me. Which I would think is even more taxing, because having a normal animal tamed, maybe permanently, I guess is normal, but having like an ultimate species tamed, I think is more draining, or like maybe it's like harder to do, right? So I would say and it's even rare for people to tame ultimate species, right? I mean, that's what Kanade said, that it's like not everyone can do it. So him taming one, I guess, is already crazy, and then doing normal contracts still with other animals, and then taming 2, that must be super crazy, I would say. But okay, he did it. I mean, it was obvious that he can do it, right? But I think it's interesting that no one says anything about it, like, you can do that? Not even Kanade. She just like, yeah, I guess he does that. But yeah, I mean, it's now with Tanya having a contract with her and tamed her, it basically means that he's even stronger now, right? Unless there is like a cap. Maybe you can only get like power from like one ultimate species, and in that case, it's maybe Kanade he gets the strength from, or maybe he can switch between them. Or maybe he just gets from every tamed ultimate species a little bit of power, right? Or not a little bit of power, but like a decent boost. So that would mean he's even stronger than before now. And I mean, we see how strong the ultimate species can be already. So, yeah. And man, I can't wait for the next episode. Because now, the hero party, we see how completely useless they are, right? And they're like, oh my god, we can't make any progress. We need Rain back, so that we can use him and abuse him to carry all our stuff, so that we then can make some progress, because without him carrying all his shit, we can't do it. But now he is way stronger than before, but he also has 2 ultimate species. And the fun thing is that Kanade is already pissed at the hero party, because they kicked him out just like that. And I guess Tanya wouldn't like it either, because she also likes Rain. And if the hero party comes around and is like all arrogant and shit, I guess both of them will realize. Rain might be like, oh, they want me back, yay. But I guess Kanade and Tanya will be like, nah, we know what you are up to. Hell nah. And I guess they will be protective when it comes. They will be protective when it comes to Ryan. So, Rain. So that will be very interesting to see how that encounter goes. I hope they are really pissed and maybe beat the shit out of the hero party. That would be fun. So yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. That's for me like probably the highlight of next episode. Seeing what happens with the encounter with the hero party and Kanade and Tanya. And otherwise, like I said, I can't wait to see more of Tanya because, like I said, I like her design and she's probably like my highlight because I don't know much about this anime. I just saw like Rain and I just saw Kanade and Tanya on like pictures. I didn't really watch the trailer. And I mean, the other girls we get, like the two fairies and this one fox spirit thingy girl, don't really interest me, so I'm looking forward to see more of Tanya. But yeah, I guess that was all of this episode basically. Yeah, I guess so. So, next anime. Married couple but not lovers but not a married couple. I love it still. I have to drink, sorry. My throat, Jesus. Like I said, I still like it. I still love it. Can't wait to see more. But every time we are in the living room, I'm not sure what is true and what is fake when it comes to Akari, because she does stuff because she wants to increase her points. The pajama thing, more points if they have like both the same one. Watching a horror movie together, more points. I mean, you can somewhat tell what is right and what is wrong, right? Like I said, watching a movie together, pajama, both false. But like the blackout and her being afraid of that stuff, right? I guess we can agree that's true and not false. But yeah, it's just every time they are in the living room, I'm like, dude, what will be right? What will be wrong? How much is she trying to fake for points, right? And something I realized in this episode, which I kinda realized before but never really paid attention to, they have completely opposite styles. He has blue hair and pink eye color. She has blue eyes and pink hair color. I mean, his is more dark, right? He has dark blue hair and the pink eyes are a bit darker. But she has like brighter colors, like bright pink and brighter blue color for her eyes, which I think is pretty nice to see that they have like this completely opposite, because character-wise they are also pretty opposites, right? She's like more extroverted and he's more introverted and all this stuff. And what I think is also very interesting is when they saw that they are at rank B already, I thought that the others they want to switch with. Shiori, I think is her name, and the guy is Manami or whatever. It's interesting that they are not even close, that they are like rank E. Which makes sense, since Shiori isn't really opening up to guys or people she doesn't know, right? But I think that's interesting. I thought that they somehow would get along and would get to like also be A rank maybe already, right? But no, they're not. They're at the very bottom, I guess. Because this is the interesting part right now, that in order to switch, they need to be rank A, and the people they want to switch with also need to be rank A. But when the others are rank E and don't make any progress, that will never happen. So all their plan to increase the rank is not working out right now, no matter how hard they try to improve their rank, which I think is very interesting. And what I also think is very interesting is that in this case, we have Jiro, who is like just doing his own stuff, right? And is like interested in Shiori. But then we have Akari, who starts to fall in love with Jiro slowly but surely, right? I mean, at the end of this episode, he was like, okay, you know what? I try my best to increase our rank, right? So that we can swap. And she's like, man, why? I don't know what she said, but something along those lines, like, why is she not liking it? Like, why is she feeling bad about it or whatever? Because she starts to like Jiro, and so she will slowly but surely get to the point where she doesn't want to swap away from him, right? Which I think is interesting, that the falling in love part starts with the girl falling in love with the guy, and not the guy falling in love with the girl, right? I don't know what happens more often. I personally feel like more often than not, the guy falls in love with the girl and then the girl falls in love with the guy, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure what happens more often. Because when you talk, for example, Urusei Yatsura, it's the same, right? Lum is somewhat in love with Ateru or whatever his name is, but he is not really in love with her. But I guess that will be the end goal, that they both fall in love, right? So it's kind of the same. And I guess there are more cases like that, but I don't know what happens more often. Like I said, I feel like it's more often than not, it's like boy falls in love with the girl first, and then the girl starts to fall in love, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's interesting that she starts to fall in love with him and he is not really. And the interesting part is because he is still after Shiori, but Akari starts to fall in love with him, but he's not really in love with her yet, right? He's not even on the path right now. Not yet. It might get to the point where he has to choose, right? Where it's like, okay, I like Shiori, and from what we saw in the last episode, she also likes him. But also Akari starts to fall in love with him, and he eventually will also start falling in love with her. And then it's like, oh shit, who do I want? I have to choose. I mean, we know who it will be, right? We know, I guess, we can be pretty certain that it's Akari that he will fall in love with ultimately. But there might come the point where he has like to choose, because he likes both and has to decide who do I like more, I guess. But yeah, overall, still liked it, like I said, and can't wait for more to see where it's going, especially because I want to see what has to happen, or when will it happen that he starts to fall in love with her. I mean, you could say he already is falling in love, like very slowly, because he says, oh, she's cute and all that stuff, and because in the first episode at the beginning he was like, man, she shows so much skin, she's the complete opposite of me, I don't like her, blah blah blah. And now he's like, man, she's cute and all that stuff. I wouldn't really say that that's already falling in love, right? Just because to say, oh my god, she's cute, or she can be cute or whatever. While Akari, obviously, I would say you can say that she falls in love with him already because she's flustered and she gets a bit jealous and thinks about him more, right? While he is still more set on getting together with Shiori because he thinks also that Akari is still only interested in Manami or whatever his name is. But yeah, so it will be interesting for me to see when he will start to fall in love with her, right? Clearly, and how it will continue with Shiori and the guy, if they will increase their rank, and how that will happen, if they get help from Akari and Jiro or not. So yeah, that will be interesting. But yeah, I guess that's the episode. And next, which is Danchi, episode 3. Next episode is the last episode, I guess, from what I've seen, because it only has 4 episodes apparently. So yeah, more weird stuff is happening. I have to say, I'm not really completely enjoying this anime. I mean, it's just so much weird shit happening, and yeah, it's weird. And quality-wise, it's not amazing, and yeah. But I mean, it's just one more episode, so I will watch it. But yeah, I mean, now at the end of the episode, it turned out that, what's her name? Mimi. Turns out that she is maybe the cause for everything, because she does this weird flower shit, and her mother is just some embryo or some shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But yeah, the girl that everyone likes is the weird person, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's last episode I said that it's maybe like about a curse being active, right? But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a curse that is going on. Maybe it's just Mimi that is doing some weird shit. Maybe she's putting the dead animals in front of her door and isn't realizing it. Will be interesting to see what the big reveal is, right? If she's doing all that stuff, or if there is a curse, because apparently there was some weird shit going on like hundreds or so years ago. Yeah. But I'm wondering how that stuff happens, that everyone becomes moss or whatever that shit is. And I mean, if she does all the stuff, how did she got the one guy down into the basement through the hole and could hang him and then moss him? Maybe he went to that place and then she went after him and did that. But how could she hang him? Because she saw how he was hanging there for a split second before it like cut away, and then she got tears in her eyes, and then you just saw the moss on the ground in his notebook. So yeah, I will be interested to see how this all concludes in the next episode. But yeah, I guess I don't really have more to say about it, because again, I don't really enjoy it. I mean, it was somewhat interesting to see what is going on, because it's just so weird, but I can't really say that it was super interesting and mind-blowing and enjoyable to watch so far. But yeah. Next, Peter Grill. Again, I would say not much to say really. I was interested to see what was going on with the goblin. Because last episode I was wondering why was she reacting to Peter that way she did, right? And now we got like the reveal that Peter and his sister picked her up when she was a baby and they were basically a family, and then the goblin hunters came around and hunted her down and basically took her away, and she got away. But they didn't saw each other for like many years until now. So that was a nice surprise, I would say, that it turns out that they knew each other and everything. And I guess that was like the only big thing that happened really in the episode, right? I mean, then the other girls went after him and came to the rescue and split up so that the goblin and Peter could go off to Luvelia and could rescue her, and then the goblin queen shows up. But before that, this weird night guy comes up and he knows how to calm down the goblins, and then got knocked out by a stone. And here's the interesting part. In the comments I saw someone say that it skips a lot. So I checked the manga and see what it skipped. And it's not really skipping, it skipped some stuff. But it also changes a lot of stuff. Holy shit. How stuff happened in the manga and how stuff happened here in the anime episode is so crazy different. The goblin guy is a knight that came into the cave and just randomly showed up. In the manga, he was in the town when Peter was still in the town. And then he got knocked out by a stone in the town. And here he just shows up when Peter is in the cave already. And in the manga, Peter and the goblin, I forgot her name, they went to Luveria. Is it Luveria? Oh my god, I'm so bad with names. Holy shit. Luvelia, yeah. And Gobuko is the goblin name. But yeah. Luvelia, they went and got Luvelia, and then the goblin queen shows up, but the other girls didn't even made it to the cave yet. They didn't even got to Peter yet. But in the manga, in the anime, they got to Peter, helped him, and then split up. So that's also completely different from the manga. And what it actually skipped is all the sex scenes with Gobuko and Peter. Because when the switch got switched for Gobuko, they had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times sex on their way to Luvelia. Where every time Gobuko, the switch got flipped and they just did it basically, right? Not into much detail, but they did it, while here in the anime, it looked like as if Peter like didn't do it, right? And just Gobuko was holding back because he's like, hey, hold it back, right? We're family, we can't do it. So again, quite different, which is surprising because, I mean, Peter Grill is all about the perverted stuff, right? So it's interesting that those perverted scenes are basically completely skipped. which, like I said, is pretty surprising. I hoped we would see some action between those two, but we didn't really, because it got skipped, which is, again, a shame. Really a shame, and I'm also a bit disappointed how everything got, like, changed. Because the night guy showing up in the cave randomly, that seemed very random, I would say. I was like, dude, where does he come from? And they are not surprised? I don't know why they changed it so much. Seems so weird to change it so much. I mean, this is not small changes. I mean, for the outcome, maybe, but I mean, the guy in the manga was literally in the town before Peter went after Luvelia. And here, he is just randomly showing up in the cave way later. So yeah. Interested to see how the next episode goes, and I think I will definitely keep up with the manga and like read the manga after watching the episodes and see what changed, right? Because now I'm very suspect of changes. So yeah, I guess that's basically it, right? I hope we get some action between Peter and Gobuko. But I guess we will see. We could have had it already, but we didn't got it. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing much else to say. But at least the whole reveal of Gobuko being like many years ago part of the family basically was a nice surprise. I like that a lot. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. And that was also the last anime I watched this week. And I didn't watch any Mushoku Tensei or anything else. Yeah, today, like I said, comes out Chainsaw Man and Shinobi no Ittoki. So again, let me know if you want to see this maybe as weekly format where I post like one video a week about everything. But I mean, this is like I said it in my last video where my update video. I said it in the last video that if I would do this in like a weekly format like this, those videos will be over an hour long. Because how many animes was this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 animes. And we talked for like almost 1 hour 40 minutes. And my throat hurts. I'm also talking non-stop right now. So yeah, let me know if you want this as a weekly format or maybe like daily. Not daily, but like each day, maybe when the animes that I watched came out, that I do a video about those episodes that I watched. Or maybe half weekly, like maybe like every 3 days or so I make a video about the episodes I watched. And then for the rest of the week, maybe I make a video, I don't know. Or maybe, like I said, each day when it comes out, I do a video. Because I think that every day, there is at least 2 animes coming out that I'm watching. There's not a single day where only 1 anime comes out that I'm watching, I think. So I could cover at least 2 animes per day, I guess. I don't know. Let me know. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Yep. Very hyped for the next week that starts basically today for me. And can't wait to see how things go in the next episodes. But yeah. If you like what you saw, leave a like, subscribe, or comment. Let me know what you think about anything. And I would say thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.